when we realise that we can reach the limits of being able to talk about community immunity and talk about claims that societies are able to make on individuals, because if governments are telling us that we owe each other something, but they only ever tell us that in the context of vaccination, and the rest of the time it's about let's get rich, let's look after ourselves and our families, then we are limited in the sort of tools that we have to deal with people's behaviour within that paradigm. And as I said, it's behaviour that is rewarded in many other paradigms, but it's problematic when we do need each other. So I'm obviously, coming from a kind of public policy, what's in the toolbox kind of perspective. And unfortunately, there's some great stuff in the toolbox, and the campaign that I ran on behalf of the Immunisation Alliance a few years ago and spoke about at the last time we were together, is obviously you're trying to persuade people, you're trying to appeal to their identities and their beliefs and their values, and frame the decision as something that is salient with who they are. And we absolutely have to keep doing that. We absolutely have to make sure that vaccines are accessible, that we're increasing trust by having effective no-fault compensation schemes, that everything else is in line that makes it possible for people who want to be vaccinated, and to build trust and response for those who are struggling with reaching that point. But I've been suggesting at this meeting that we also do need to consider the less appealing tools in the box if we are really serious about the fact that vaccination is a public good, and that it is something that doesn't work if we don't do it. To go back to the first point I made, if we have this almost consensus that being self-interested and looking after our own is the right way to operate, as researchers have been saying as far back as the mid-90s, it's actually surprising we don't have a lot more people refusing vaccines. And if that is the risk, if we risk kind of normalising and, giving personal choice the most emphasis and the most credit, and being unwilling to think about the other tools in the box because they appear coercive, we could be at risk of obviously facilitating an outbreak of disease.